I was kind of left feeling like I wanted to look more like I trained by I got to this point. That's when I took things seriously, and I got in photo shoot shape by doing this here. Right, you filthy maggots, I'm going to tell you right now exactly how long you should be spending in a fat loss phase. Now, there's 3 approaches to fat loss that I want you to think about, and it really depends on what circumstance you're in. The lifestyle change, the fat loss phase, and the aggressive mini cut. We're going to plot this on an axis here. On this axis, we have body fat or weight. Doesn't really matter. Body fat, weight. You know, we're trying to lose weight, we're trying to lose body fat. On this axis, we have time/experience. So the more experienced you are, or the more time it takes. And that'll make a bit more sense as we go through. So let's really try and break it down now to figure out how long you should spend in a fat loss phase and which approach is right for you. Let's start with the lifestyle change. Now, the lifestyle change is very much for people that are first getting into fitness. If you're someone that's like just getting started on their journey, they're just getting into the gym, you are just starting with like eating healthy, maybe you've been eating a lot of Uber Eats, you've been getting a lot of food out, you've been eating a pretty shit diet. Let's be real. Okay, if that's you, you're going to start cleaning up your diet, you're going to be eating a little bit more whole foods, you're going to be drinking less alcohol, you're going to be trying to get out for a bit more walks, you're trying to get to the gym, and you're trying to establish those routines. You are the lifestyle changer, okay? Now, we'll talk about counting calories and macros, and the lifestyle changer has an option. You can track calories and macros if you want to, and it's a good idea to start to think about that, because that is definitely where you will be heading in the future. So with the lifestyle change, you are really trying to, in the easiest way possible, see some progress by just changing your habits. That's the thing. And so you're starting off here at a very high body fat percentage. So let's say like 30% plus. 30+% body fat. For men, maybe a little higher. For women, you can add about 7%. So let's say, I don't know, 37% for women, because they generally carry a little bit more body fat because they have to do other stuff. So if you're above 30% body fat for men and 37% body fat for women, this might be where you start. And you're just going to say, I need to change my habits and I need to really make a change. I'm going to start eating healthy. I might start tracking my calories, and I'm going to get my steps in, and I'm going to get to the gym and really establish that habit. You might start to see some really good weight loss progress. Okay, amazing. You can track calories, you can track macros. That'll get me going. Now, when it comes to this approach, you can go indefinitely, because you are making the changes necessary for you to change your life, to change your habits, to change your lifestyle, to see the progress. It happens very naturally. And to be honest, if you've been eating a lot of crappy food and you've been having very terrible habits, you've been sitting on the couch and you've been eating chips and guac and all that crap. Guac's pretty good, but you get what I'm trying to say. If that's you, cleaning up your diet and getting to the gym, you're going to feel so much better. There's not really any negatives about it, except like, okay, your old habits die hard and you're going to want to go back to those, especially when you're stressed and stuff. But overall, you're going to feel so much better. This is just going to happen very, very easily. This is going to happen very, very easily. So you can just keep going until you hit a plateau. Now, when you hit that plateau, you're probably going to be around a body fat percentage of, you could be anything from between 16 up to around 30% body fat. You may have started way above 30. You could have been, 40 to 50% body fat, and you could have come down just underneath 30. That's the lifestyle change. Okay, so when you're through the lifestyle change, you could be anything from 16% up to 30%, kind of depends where you've started. Because you could change your lifestyle at less than 30%, if you've been eating a bit crappy. But I would say once you've got that, it's going to take you some time, but you're going to get some experience from doing that. Here's why that is important with the experience. You've just gained some experience of eating more healthy, establishing the habit of going to the gym, establishing the habit of getting your steps in. All of that stuff is foundational. Foundational. So even if you are at 22%, you could still benefit from the lifestyle change. And so doing that still gives you that experience. It's taken you some time to lose some weight, but you've gained that experience as well. So now you can see why we're making that progression across this axis at the bottom here. Once you're kind of anywhere between 16 to 25, 30%, now you're considering the fat loss phase. You're a little bit more experienced and you want to take things a little bit more seriously, right? Let's start tracking your calories, your macros. You've got to get a bit more purposeful with the amount of protein you're taking in. You're going to start taking your training a little bit more seriously. You're going to train hard. You're really going to push the steps. And this is now going to be a temporary period of time. Now you're going to set yourself an end goal. Okay, what's realistic now for this time frame? And what is the time frame here? So there's a few rules that we want to go by here. You don't want to lose any more than 10% of your total body weight in one go. So let's lay down the gauntlet here, shall we? So let's say you want to go less than 10% body weight in one go. So that means if you're 200 pounds, the most amount of weight you should lose in one go without taking a break is going to be 20 pounds. Great. But then how long should I go? How long should that take? Beautiful question. When you're doing the fat loss phase, you should aim for 0.5 to 0.6 plus or minus 1, either side is fine, percentage of total body weight per week. Okay, now we're getting into the good stuff here. So if you weigh 200 pounds, you're looking at 1 pound a week on the slower end and then whatever 0.6 is on the higher end. So if, let's say you were losing 0.5 pounds, 1 pound a week, 20 weeks would mean 20 pounds. Okay, so that means that to lose 10% of your body weight, you would have gone down from 200 to 180 pounds. Now, maybe you want to go further. That's fine. You just need to take a break and then you can do another fat loss phase. That's not a problem. But in one go, this is kind of what you're looking at here. Let's call this the fat loss phase. 20 weeks. Here's the other rule. 8 to 16 weeks is probably the optimal amount of time that you want to do a regular fat loss phase. This is a sustainable approach. It does take restriction, mostly in the form of calorie restriction. And it does mean that you're going to be having to say no to certain things. Certain people want to go out for drinks. People want to go out for burgers, pizza. Maybe once a week you can moderately eat some of that stuff. You know, we're talking a slice of pizza and the rest of it be whole foods and good stuff that fits your calorie and macro targets. But for the most part, you're going to have to be a little bit more strict than the lifestyle change. Okay, with the lifestyle change, you might be able to go out once a week. But with the fat loss phase, it's getting a little bit more dialed in. Okay, you're going to be saying no to a little bit more stuff, but you're going to see some really, really good results. Because if you can get down, you know, to 16% body fat, you're going to start to look really good. You're going to start to look really bloody good, mate. There's nothing magical about these numbers, of course. Like, you could potentially go more than 10%. You could go faster than 0.6. You could go slower than 0.5. The thing is, you go faster than this and it has consequences. The faster you go, the bigger the cost. Fatigue, physical and mental fatigue, training gets impacted, your sleep gets impacted, your hunger gets impacted, okay? And so it means that if you are going to try and go for 20 weeks, you're really dragging out a kind of a big calorie deficit for such a long time, and it's really difficult. On the flip side, if you're trying to lose like 0.5 pounds a week or less, that's really difficult to see on the scale when the scale's like jumping up and down half a pound every week. You know, every day, I mean. You're getting on the scale one day and it's like 195.2. Next day, 195.5. And you don't know where you don't know whether you're coming or going. And so it's really difficult to see that progress when it is so small. Whereas if you're trying to make bigger increments, at least it's a little bit easier to see. We've got some rules there, around 10% maximum, 0.5 to 0.6, maybe a little slower, maybe a little faster. 8 to 16 weeks-ish is a great period to go for. Give yourself a target. This is how much I want to lose, and this is kind of my end goal point. This is important because if you don't set that, you're kind of just going to drag it out. This is what I found for myself and a lot of my clients as well, is if we don't set a deadline, we just keep going and going and going, and or things crop up and instead of saying no to friends, I say, hey, I'm actually just doing a fat loss phase for several weeks. It's okay, yeah, I'll come out because, you know, there's no end date in sight, so I might as well. So get the bloody finish line in sight and bloody get after it, mate. Okay. When you're down to around 16% body fat for men, 23% for women, or you're very experienced. Okay, so you've tracked your macros in the past. By the way, the lifestyle change is what I initially did just to get in good shape. I did CrossFit, I did a lot of running. I got in pretty good shape, not amazing. I was kind of left feeling like I wanted to look more like I trained by I got to this point. You know, I was like, I trained hard and I wanted to look more like the guys that I trained with. That's when I took things seriously, and I got in photo shoot shape by doing this here. 20-week diet, I lost about 22 pounds. That was 195 to 175, that's what it was. I got in photo shoot shape. It was really, really good, really successful. Now, what I'm currently doing, and this is a fantastic approach if you're a little bit more experienced, tracking your calories and macros, is an aggressive fat loss phase or a mini cut. Is just, okay, I'm going to go more aggressive, as in I'm going to push things up now. Instead of going for 0.5 to 0.6, I'm going to go 1% of body weight per week. I think 10% max is still a good rule. So let's go still less than 10%. You probably wouldn't even go that, to be honest. You probably would go like 5%. Let's just put 6%, okay? You go around 6% or less. And this could go up to 8 weeks. So let's just say less than 8 weeks. But I think ideally it's going to be 4 to 6 in an ideal world. And this, obviously you're coming down. I guess that's not any steeper, but it's supposed to be. So this is, we're going to call this mini cut aggressive fat loss. This is what I'm currently doing. Okay. Now I have lost more than 6 pounds in 3 weeks, and I'm doing this for 6 weeks. Okay, so I've set myself 6 weeks. It's a hard end target. I know exactly when I'm going for. I know I want to lose 10 to 12 pounds in 6 weeks. That's 1% of my body weight pretty much. I was 185 pounds. Okay, so that's 1.85 pounds per week. I'm on target. I'm on target. And so with this, because it's so aggressive, you can really get things dialed in. You're going to be saying no to pretty much everything here. Like, of course, it's my wife's birthday tomorrow, and I'm not saying no to my wife for her birthday. You know, we're going to be going out. I'm hitting pause. I'm taking that as a refeed day, okay? And I'll talk about that in another video. But you don't have to say no to literally everything. There's going to be kids' birthday parties. There's going to be slices of cake. You don't have to be a complete douchebag, but you're going to be saying no to a lot of things here. It's going to take a lot of sacrifice. It's going to take a lot of steps. It's going to take hard working out, and it's going to take, just a lot of sacrifice and restriction. Okay, but there's an end date in sight, and it's not very long. These are the 3 options you have. Now, you could do a fat loss phase if you're above 30%. That's not a problem. You could do an aggressive fat loss phase if you're at like 25% and you have experience. And so it's not one size fits all. You can deviate slightly away from these rules, but I would say it comes with more, you want to have that experience in place. If you come in here with no experience and you try and do an aggressive fat loss phase, it's really difficult because you're kind of messing with things like your hunger and fullness signaling, and if you're prone to binge eating, it's going to be really difficult because you are going to be really hungry and you're going to be wanting to it's just not fantastic for that, okay? So to recap, you've got 3 options depending on your starting place. The lifestyle change. Now this is where everyone should start from. Start eating better food. Stop eating so much crap. Get off your ass, go for a walk, get to the bloody gym. Simple stuff. You're going to see some really, really good progress by sticking to those foundational basics. After that, you've got the fat loss phase. Start to get things more dialed in. Track your calories. Maybe have a think about, no, rewind. You could start tracking your calories here. You could. But now you want to start getting really dialed in on your calories. You want to start tracking your protein, carbs, and fats, potentially your fiber as well. You want to really focus in on that calorie restriction. You want to get a step target in place. You want to get a really structured program in place for your workouts. You want to take things a little bit more seriously. You're going to say no to more things here within reason. You're going to be able to moderate some things, but this is going to be, what really catapults you into some seriously good shape here. Once you've got that experience, you're going to be able to go into the mini cut phase and take things super aggressive. Set a deadline, a strict deadline. I've got 6 weeks. I'm going to lose as much weight as possible within reason at 1% of my total body weight. So if you're 300 pounds, that's £3 a week. That's a lot. That's a lot of body fat in a week. You pull out all the stops. You're cranking out 12 to 16,000 steps a day. You're getting to the gym. Okay, maybe you're not going so hard on your workouts in this phase because you're really limiting the calorie intake. You could potentially go straight from this phase into this phase, but when you're going from this phase and you're recycling, let's say you lose 10% body fat, you want to take a diet break, maybe a month or so, and then back into another phase like this, but you definitely don't want to go straight from this into this. You definitely want to take a break between these two because, again, you need to eat to maintain weight. Dieting is very fatiguing, mentally, physically. Okay, you need to spend time eating to maintain. You need to spend time in the gym, focusing on your performance, focusing on improving your lifts. You cannot spend your whole life trying to lose, which is one of the reasons why this can be beneficial once you have the experience. You get the job done, and then you get back to focusing on your performance and trying to improve your lifts, trying to improve your cardiovascular endurance, and focusing on other areas of fitness. This should be temporary after all. Get your body fat down and start to bring other things up. I'll link the best fat loss guide on the internet down below. This is exactly what got me from here to here and in photo shoot shape. And the principles I'm using for this, but I'm just going a little bit more aggressive. Seriously, download it. It's free, but treat it as if you paid $200 for it because it's incredible. I've packaged everything that I've learned and have applied to my clients in the last 5 to 10 years. And it's going to get you great results if you follow it. I appreciate you watching. Let the gains commence, mate. See you later, you filthy maggot.